Разве можно сделать лучше?
This is a SONOFMAN presentation. As y'all all know, frequencies of thought, this is where we literally open up our celestial ears and we literally interpret and understand the world and all the things within the world with our consciousness, which envelopes the universe. For your mind is a replica of how space is ever expanding. Peace and blessings, everyone. This is Frequencies of Thought.
Pando killed the beat.
So in simple terms, we're just going to keep it real simple. In simple terms, what we're currently waiting for is literally the story of Moses when he's up on the mountain. And remember that Moses is the word M-O-S-E-S, Moses. My name is Jose. So if you was to use Hebraic typology and turn that M into a J, which is possible, you'll have Jose. So Jose is up on the mountain telling everybody, teaching everybody that is listening about the laws. This is after he done got them over the Red Sea, which is the physical flesh and the viewing of the world as reality, of having the people literally thinking that they are the body instead of realizing that they are that which animates the body, the soul, the nefesh, thought. So right now, this is what's gonna happen. So listen, because it's up to you. I'm warning you. This is your last warning before any of this happens. And you will all know that thought is the Lord after this. Moses is up on the mountain coming down. After he sees the burning bush, the Father tells him, Moses, your people are down there getting a little rambunctious. Go to them and give them these tablets with these commandments on it. And the Father uses the finger of God, which those who are the sons and daughters of God know what the finger of God and the hand of God represent, because I've already told them. And they all know it. For signs and symbols are in all things, so they are able to see it. And I've told all of you in past lectures, in my past channel, which is no longer online, and those things there were given to all of you to have you prepared by now. If you are not prepared by now, you have a serious problem on your hands. Serious problem. So now we go and we literally have Moses coming down from the mountain. And as he's coming down from the mountain, he could hear the partying, the people yelling, the blaspheming, the people riding the beast, people are naked, people are pansexual, transsexual, androminians, People are everything. Metrosexual, you call it, they got it down there. So he comes around the mountain and he sees the people riding the beast, all of them riding the bull, literally worshiping the sun, not realizing that the sun is a representation of their captivity through emotion, which is love, which is the doorway of which is one of the 7 deadly sins. Basically, just like Solomon had 7 wives, which led to many other wives. That's what it basically all is. And then, as he hears this and he sees this with his own eyes, he screams out, "No!" Because he can't believe it. And he throws one of the tablets. When he throws one of the tablets, pay attention, because this is what you're seeing occurring right now. This does not mean a meteor is coming. They might try to tell you that's what it is or that's what happened, but that's not what is going to occur. There's a firmament up there. They cannot break through that. The earth shakes. When the tablet hits, after he's thrown it, it hits the bull and it breaks the bull's horns. One of the bull's horns and both of the bull's front feet. This is a representation of one being taken and the other left. He has 2 horns. One gets broken, one gets left. Which means that your thoughts get taken away because you blaspheme the sun. You blaspheme the Holy Spirit in yourself. The earth opens up, swallows the bull and everybody that's riding the bull above it. You guys have all seen this depicted on these films and in these cartoon animated stories that they have. And out of the hole that swallowed up the people, fire comes out, lightning strikes, and begins to zap the people. This is the plasma strike. These are all the things that you were warned about long ago. And after that, the earth and the people that got swallowed up are basically all gone and going crazy and crying and everything else, the sorrow, of course, the regretting that most of you do all the time. He looks to the side, and to the side you can see Aaron, who is a representation of his brother, but of course we're not really talking about a person called Aaron. Aaron is a representation of the light bringer, which is your morning star. It's your Christ. It's the Christ in you, in the person. So this Christ, this person that's Aaron, or that's representation of Aaron, is along with all those that kept. And it was very few people. It wasn't like a multitude of people. It was literally only like about 8 or 9 people, probably the most 12. And he sees that they never got involved with the things that the rest of the world was into. They never worshipped the beast. They never rode the beast. They never dealt with any of that negativity that was going on in the world at that time. And they remained far from it. And those that did found a way to find reality and deal with the truth, and they went and listened to Aaron. So you got to remember that this all began because when Moses went up into the mountain for the 40 days and 40 nights, which is representative of being in balance. It's not really going to the mountains. It's not really representative of going to the desert. It's not really representative of doing any of that. All of those are physical things. You cannot please God by doing physical things. The one you please when you do that is Satan. I've told y'all this. God is spiritual. God is soul. God is not flesh. God is what literally constructs and animates the flesh. That's why they call him the master, steer. So after this situation here, before all of this occurred, you have to understand that the people, when Moses went up into the mountain, the people asked Aaron, which means their light bringer, their ideas, their thoughts. And they said they need a God to worship. So they asked Aaron to please make them a God. And if you remember the correct story, which is found in the King James Version, any other version outside of the King James Version is exactly that, a version. A version. And a version basically means verse ion. You are bound by your word. King James was bound by the word when he actually had them canonize that Bible. That Bible became solidified. Because your word is your bond and your bond is your word, even to him who is gone. So, you should be able to pick that book up. If you have any other Bible, cool. But whenever you want to research the true words of God, pick up the King James Version, the original text. Because the original text still holds exactly what was said and written in it all those years long ago. So when the people go into their ideas, into their thoughts, their negative thoughts, idle mind leads for devil worshiping. That's what it leads to. This is why you have to stay focused on the things that are good and righteous. So they asked their Aaron, their light bringer, for a god. And he said, okay, cool, give me a plate. And they gave him a plate. And when they gave him a plate, he told them, all right, now here's this plate, and go collect all the silver and all the gold from the people. So, and now we'll make you a god. So they went around collecting the silver and the gold and anything that it was of precious stones. And this is a representation of your financial system, your stores, your businesses. This is what that is representing. That is what you are seeing. The daily sacrifice, the oblation that has ceased. It ceased because you were the sacrifice. You were the ones that were sacrificing yourselves with your own blood, sweat, and tears, not realizing that it was a ritual being done to the god Molech, the deity or the deified deity or deified character that these people view as God. Aside from, of course, Mithra, which is what everyone in the world is going to get introduced to after these people get taken. You guys are going to learn Mithra and get introduced to the Mithraism, which is basically the people who our elite government worship, and the Iranian government people over there, the Zoroastrianism. Those individuals over there. So you have Mithra, which is the sun god, and then you have Mythos, which is the sun upon the earth. And these two battle it out. The Mythos, which is the god upon the earth, or the sun upon the earth, is a basic representation of what we would call today, what you were all supposed to deify or represent, which is what you guys basically call today Christianity. But you've perverted that. And you turned that into sin. You turned it into the very flesh that you sin with on a daily basis. So the Father had to literally eradicate those things and bring in a new reality through thought. And to be able to teach the people the old ways, because the people are caught up in all of the new fundamental religious rites that these elites supposedly leak down to you, and you're thinking, oh, it's a leak. Oh, yo, look, they didn't want us to know this. Nothing is a secret. You should know that by now. So basically, when the plate is given back to Aaron, it never actually makes it back to Aaron. It just basically, God appears. The God that appears is a bull. You guys seen it. It looks very similar to the stock market bull, which stands in front of the stock market in New York, in Manhattan. And that's basically what you all are basically actually sacrificing for, which is basically what most of you people in these particular groups like GW, Jeff, well, I can't remember his name, and many others, you know, all of you that got 5,000 or more people in your rooms and you're not teaching righteousness, you have to understand that you are bound. You've bounded yourself, and you've bounded all of your students, all of your subscribers, your followers, which is a sad thing, because you were all warned. I made 2 videos long ago called Unmasking the Heathen, in which I went and basically exposed a lot of you for what and who you are, truly. You may not know that's what you are, but that's what you are. You're either a clone, or you're either a serpent seed, meaning you're a surrogate made biologically in a lab, and you're thinking you're actually human, but you're here on a mission. That's why your life, you got many memories, but you can't prove none of your memories, because you don't have no childhood pictures or none of that. And for those of you who do have that, you know, it doesn't mean you're all human either. It just means that, you know, you might be a clone. But then there's some of you who are real, who are the true children of God. Those of you who is real. That's who I came here to teach. That's who I came here to come get. You guys. You are the ones that are lost. You are the ones that Satan went and created all of these other artificial intelligences for, to keep you in darkness, thinking that you're following someone who's like you, that is nothing like you, who does not have what you have inside you. The mechanism that causes you to animate and move around is definitely not the same mechanism which causes a lot of them to move around and activate. We're talking about cyborgs, cybernetic organisms, people that are manipulated and animated through the things in which are organisms, cybernetic organisms that go into the body and feed the body certain types of information. And this information is what allows them to go walk here and walk there. And as I've told y'all all when I came on the scene, the devil has now been ordered to remove his creation and all of his wickedness off the face of the earth. And of course, he's not gonna leave without a fight. He's not gonna leave without trying to fight. But he still has to follow the rules. So what you're seeing him do with his armies is getting ready, as I've told y'all many times before, to remove his creations, the wicked children. You're like the wicked tenants. I know y'all have read that. That's what you are. Because within you, you have tenants, which are parasites. And these parasites are really who you really are. But you don't know that, because you don't have a way to do your connection to thought is not there. It's severed. And whatever little data you had to thought is now going to be erased and eradicated forever. So you're going to be extinguished. Those of you who are the true children of God, who are out there listening to me, nothing will happen to you. Nothing will happen to you, and you will end up in these areas. You will run into somebody who will literally come and bring you over here to learn. But those of you who are in denial, those of you who don't seem to understand what's going on, your reality is here. Your time is up. You're no worse than any of these stars and celebrities. You're exactly like them. You're little miniatures, replicants of what the government created. This is why you have such a problem with COVID-19. This is why you have such a problem with them shutting down stores and businesses. Of course, it's not going to be fun, but you should know how to do without by now. And that's the situation.
Kill the beat.
You got your 4 different types of individuals out there, which I've explained. Parasitic, infested people who allow the parasite to go and latch on to their reptilian part of their brain. And it basically causes them to sit back as an avatar within their own body for the rest of their lives. And some people are born this way the minute that their mother gave them suck. Then you have your clones, which are basically test tube babies. Many of you were adopted when younger, and you already know the whole ordeal. You can watch how you're created and all of that right in your movies. And then you have your surrogates, which I told you are very much like clones, but you have the consciousnesses and memories of people who were pretty much killed and taken, or of people who were here before, or of people who are literally being held against their will in some of these chambers that are all around the world. And then, of course, you have the creation of God, Adam, he who is real. He who is real, that's who are the lost sheep. That's who I'm here for. That's who I'm talking to. When I teach and I give these lectures, it was to them that I was giving it, and all of them got it. They may not have understood it completely, but the point is that they got it. And since they got it, this is why you're seeing what is occurring right now upon this earth. So, I came to a lot of you, straight up, myself, to speak to you all, but you refused me, and you refused anything that I said simply because of my color, simply because of my lack of worldly knowledge, or because of my, what you would consider to be a handicap, my stuttering voice or my lisp. You saw all of those things as discrepancies, flaws, but those are the beauties of us who are real. So Aaron goes and creates, well, he doesn't go and create it. Their ideas created it for them, and it appeared. And that's a representation of the Taurus star constellation. Oh, and now I'm getting hotter because now y'all all know what I'm about to say next. Especially those of you who've met me, that I've told you this personally. And I got about 10 of y'all in mind right now. But I told y'all about the Taurus star constellation literally being home to the 7 sisters, which are basically your Pleiadians, or your Pleiades. And I told you that the Pleiades is a biological element within the body, which is basically a morphological gene. I told you that. It's a biological, morphological moth gene that has been introduced into the human genome system. And this is why they show you the Monarch Project on TV. This is why they show you the monarchy of England and Rome and all of those areas, Spain, Italia. The monarchs. You already know what the Monarch Project is. Clones, surrogates, cybernetics, cyborgs. Can't fool me. You can't fool those who are with me. I came in my Father's name, and I stand on my Father's name. Thought he be Melchizedek, Salah. So the COVID is a biological weapon that is being used whenever they want to use it, at places like rallies, at places like riots and protests and little get-togethers, town hall meetings, beaches. When they want, they put it in the atmosphere. The Bible calls it diaspora. And dia literally means clear. Spora basically means a spore. You guys all know that. And a spore is a molecule, something that is as small as a molecule floating in the atmosphere that you cannot see, cannot touch or feel, because it's microscopic. This is your 1,290 days that you hear about in the Bible, which is one precession of an equinox. 1,260 days is also one precession of an equinox. They both are, depending on the leap year within those particular centuries or millennia that we're talking of. So, the coronavirus. The coronavirus is literally what you have in your body. You have a corona. And the corona around your cell is the cell that is the wall that the Bible speaks of that is being built even in troublous times. Is it that hard to understand? They're building a wall around your cell, an artificial wall. The Father basically wanted y'all to purify your bodies, stop eating and drinking all of these MSGs and all of these additives and fake food and imitations and generic drugs and everything else. Get it out your system so that when this coronavirus comes, it causes you to sweat, which opens up your pore, and then the salt in you begins to release all of the toxins in your body. And as it releases all of the toxins in your body, this is a representation of the cell within you, the cell wall, literally disintegrating, which releases nitrogen mixed with the hydrogen and the phosphorus, which is literally the chemical elements for an atom bomb. And that atom bomb takes place inside you. You might actually release that exhaust of that bomb either through a burp or a fart, because your body is a chamber for all types of chemicals. I've told y'all what the elites did to you was commit something called alchemy. And they withheld certain metals and minerals and elements that your body needed and fed you heavy-based metals, minerals, and elements that you didn't need. So this way you cannot think as clearly. You wouldn't look at things logically. You wouldn't think too fast. And this is why some of you can't understand. Let he who has ears hear. Let he who has eyes see. That statement. So now all things are revealed. the apocalypse. And you are literally in the time of mourning. So I suggest you all do so. Because while you're being distracted, the biological weapon, which is the COVID, has been getting sprayed every night, every day, all around you. And they use infrared to see who has this on them. Who are the people who are basically ripe for the picking, ripe for the slaughter. Because their temperatures will rise up, and the Bible calls this the Scarlet Garment, which is basically where porphyria, which is an element of barium, which is found in your chemtrails, falls upon you and upon your skin, and it's purple. And therefore, they know exactly who to go get. They know whose house to knock on. They know where you at. You ain't going to be able to hide. I'll tell you that right now. That's from your government. Some of you are actually trying to hide from God, which I don't even know how you're trying to do that, but you are. But it is very unwise. You chose to serve who you wanted to serve because you thought it fit your narrative. You wanted to believe that instead of understanding that there's a soul within these vessels, that it's just the flesh that matters. Why? Now you're gonna pay for that. Damnation, liquid fire. The day of Yom Kippur, as the Islamic people say. Hellfire. Fire burn. The coronavirus is the wall that is being dismantled, and the crown has been taken from the world leaders and has now being given to the rightful heirs of the throne, which are his sons, those who could accept the Ruach, which is the Y Gamma. This is why the coronavirus literally causes the irradiation of the cells, which is why I've told y'all about the iodine and baking soda, so that you can ionize your cells and your cells could begin to absorb the radiation instead of it being broken down and then killed and diminished basically by the radiation. So now the sun empowers you. It's always giving you energy, vitamin D and all of that good stuff. And you all knew this.
Pando killed the bee.
They teach us that in like 3rd grade in their false educational system. So the coronavirus depletes that, the chemical elements which I mentioned, hydrogen, nitrogen, and phosphorus mixed together. You got a spark. That spark is your morning star, your Lucifer. Lucifer is literally the star that fell from heaven, meaning your thoughts, your consciousness, your higher self has fallen to the earth. And now you're thinking that the earth is real. Sadly. And for many of you, it's a little too late. For many of you, it's still not. Which is why I'm taking the time out to give you this lecture, so that you can literally figure it out. Come meet me in the clouds. The Discord link is in every video description right below. Forget what everybody else is telling you. Start dealing with the things that make sense and logic to you. This will get you so much further than fantasy and what ifs. We could talk about what ifs all day. What's that saying? If was a drink, we be all effed up. So I just wanted to put this out there for you guys to be able to basically understand and understand and overstand the true teachings of Christ. The deal with the cross philosophy, and I know I haven't put up the cross philosophy as of yet, but I still have to find time to basically upload the video for you, and I will. But in the meantime, get to thinking. To lament means to think. Always remember that. To be dressed in sackcloth and ashes means to think. Always remember that. So lament, my people. Cry out. Cry out to the true and living God. Not no dead Christ of contention. Not no dead sunbeam or no dead whatever you guys are beginning to pray to. The days are accumulating. With that said and done, I hope the Father has been able to circumcise your eyes, heart, and mind to be able to hear this message. This is Frequencies of Thought, and I'm out. Salah. Frequencies.
Pando, kill the beat.